Hello, welcome to the Winter Gardens Blackpool. We've just finished the first two quarter-finals here at the PDC World Matchplay on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. Ian Danter here, Laura Turner to my immediate left, Paul Nicholson, Chris Mason to my right. And we know the first two semi-finalists. They are James Wade and Johnny Clayton. James Wade, let's start with that game tonight, folks. Getting over the line 16-13 against Jan van Veen. After an extraordinary mid-session burst of legs. You and me were in there, Mace, and we were a bit concerned for James at 4-1 down. We needn't have been.
No, reeled off 9 legs of just high-quality darts, nothing needing a sixth turn. It was 15s, 14s, 13s, 11s and 12s. And then he sort of got himself in a position where James is very comfortable and he just has to hold throw. He's had a career of doing just that, and he just sort of held off a spirited fight back from Van Veen, but he just left himself too much to do. And James at times did look a little bit like he was gassing, but on throw he was just still very, very solid.
I think that was the first real dose of James Wade that Van Veen's had. He's played him plenty of times before, but that's taking him on in a place where he's very comfortable and doing the things that we expect him to do. The fact that he's able to have these spells of holding throw when he wants to, and to be able to put in a spell that would live with most players when they're playing well, is a worrying sign for Johnny Clayton come Saturday night. That game could be extraordinary if a lot of the things that we've seen in this tournament do show up.
Although what else was extraordinary was first 12 darts at a double and nothing.
Yeah, we were watching out the back, and we were astounded, and we thought, right, this has to turn around at some point too, because in fairness, he found himself 4-1 down, but he quite easily could have been 4-1 up, because there was only one leg in that initial mini session that he didn't have a go at a double. So for me, James just managed to switch it on, like we know James can do. The fact that he kind of went in that match as the underdog was a complete surprise to most of us, because he's been playing some of the best things we've ever seen from him here at the Matchplay. He's had a record average in terms of what he's performed, and he's been here 20 times. He is playing really, really well, and we just saw more of that. And to come into this match and be 4-1 down, it was a different situation that he'd been in any of his other matches. So the fact that he could turn that one around as well, it's just another thing that James Wade has managed to do this week.
Yeah, I don't think there was too many pundits that fancied Van Veen to win that. We were all sort of walking around seeing all the guys from Sky and all the YouTube guys, and they were like 13-10 outside of the two. We were like, that can't be right. But there's one good little caveat to that the last 2 times they've met, whoever's won that match has gone on to win the tournament.
That's right, when it comes to Players' Championship events.
To Van Veen the last time they met.
And you mentioned the doubles as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't good at the start, but the next 2 sessions, he's around the 80% mark, so he knows how to turn something around.
And Mace, you made note of how many semi-finals he's reached in his 20 appearances.
10. I mean, that's a remarkable strike rate for anybody, especially a tournament like this that pits together the cream of world darts right now.
One final question on Wade, that whoever wants to have a go at this, they can. He seems to be developing a real siege mentality about the way he's being perceived at these championships, talking about the television company not giving him any promo in the build-up to this quarter-final. Maybe he's just looking for something to motivate himself. Players do that, don't they?
His mental health's been well documented, and he's obviously not comfortable in front of camera. It's amazing that he can perform on stage in front of the cameras, but he's in a world that he knows and he feels safe in. And I think because of that when he is being interviewed, it comes across sometimes as a little bit obtrusive. But
hang on. No, it's all right. Everyone's all right.
And I think that maybe can rub the media up maybe the wrong way, and people watching and Sky or the PDC may feel that. But listen, when he's playing like he is at the moment, who wouldn't want him in a Premier League? Who wouldn't want him in a World Series? And he said today, I was invited to a World Series, but he'd already planned a holiday because he didn't think he'd be going. And that's just unfortunate. But I'm sure, listen, if you keep playing well and you're entertaining the crowd, that's who the PDC want in their tournament.
If he's back in the top 4 in the world by the time we go to the World Championship, we'll be talking about this bounce back for decades. Mm-hmm. Because we spoke about Whitlock going down the rankings and then rebounding. He did it once, possibly twice. This guy, a lot of people thought maybe we'd seen the best of him and we might get 5-10 years out of him and he might hover around the top 32. He's back in contention. He's never been world number one, but the way he's playing, he's going to pick up more majors. This guy's got longevity that we can only dream of.
Well, his next opponent is the player who he told me in his post-match interview that he would rather not have faced out of Johnny Clayton or Stephen Bunting, because Clayton is, as far as James is concerned, one of the few friends that he has within the game. Now, Johnny, you, Laura and Paul, you were in the commentary box for that on the YouTube channel and on talkSPORT 2. And Johnny, much like Ian did, raced away at the get-go, but the point is he maintained it.
Yeah, and he was playing so much better than Stephen Bunting as well. And 5-0 at the first break, that's hard for any player to get back in. And again, Stephen Bunting then started to hold throw. He was finding a way back into it, but really struggled to find a break. And the one time that he did, well, the first time that he did, he was broken straight back again. And it just became all a bit too arduous for him. You could see that, for Stephen Bunting, his head started to go, it started to drop, and it all just got a little bit too much. But that's all the credit really is due to Johnny Clayton, because he just pressured from the start. Little dip in the middle, but wow, he bookended it with some massive scores.
Not many people from the northwest of England have won this title. Aspinall did in 2023, but there are so many people who have had near misses. I mean, Dave Chisnell hasn't won here, Ronnie Baxter didn't win here, and Lisa Ashton hasn't won the women's match play. So being from this area, it's not really a benefit. And tonight, Stephen Bunting was not able to use it as a benefit for him because Clayton was so much better than him. He got the start and he maintained a nice gap throughout the entire contest.
The metric we noticed backstage, Mason and I, whilst we were watching, was the 140 hitting, where it was over twice as many for the ferret.
Unbelievable. I mean, we were looking over it and it was just ticking over. Stevens at one point was less than half of that of Clayton. He was clicking over 25 140s and he had a decent amount of maximums as well. But I suppose when you think about the game in retrospect, we marvelled at the first leg of that contest, Laura. 3 140s in the first 3 visits. He set his stall out, and that really was the tail of the tape.
Yeah, 11 data, wasn't it, to open up proceedings? And it did, like you say, it just lays down that marker. But the fact that he could back it up again and again, and he was finding those big maximums right from the off. So Stephen was kind of on that back foot. When someone comes out against you and does that from the very off, you have to be on it, and you can get kind of just slightly blindsided. And I think that's possibly what happened to Stephen in that first little mini session. And like I say, it's just too much to come back because Clayton was relentless. Even though he did have the dip in form on throw, he was kind of very much James Wading it for a while in terms of just holding throw. That's fine. We'll just keep doing this until I can either find a way of breaking you again, or I'll just see out the match. And in the end, he broke and saw out the match, and it's Clayton through.
So Clayton, who lost the final to Aspinall a couple of years ago, into the semi-finals against Wade. That will be on Saturday night on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel and on talkSPORT 2. Let's look ahead to what we've got on Friday night. 2 more quarterfinals, starting with Andrew Gilding against Luke Litler. Now, Gilding, 100 average for the tournament. He saw off Dirk van Duijvenbode with a minimum of fuss, Nico, the other day, didn't he, really? We tried to make a case for Jermaine Wattimena taking on Litler, and Wattimena very nearly bloodied our noses with the way he played. How about Goldfinger?
Well, I'm the one that said Jermaine Wattimena wouldn't be up on the stage very long. I give him a massive amount of credit for the way he performed in that game. His mentality was probably the best he's ever shown, but it was in a loss. I really hope he learns from it. Gilding, we know about him that he's just going to do what he does, same process. He will hope for the same sort of victory. Litler will try and do his thing. He's got different levels of intensity. We've seen that in this tournament. He can play placid, he can play fireworks style darts. This one's going to be straight down the line. There's not going to be a great deal of celebrating here unless Gilding does what Wattimena did by taking a massive lead. I do expect Litler to win, but I think Gilding will feel that there's no pressure on him now. Getting a second consecutive quarter-final is to his credit. I don't see him making the semis, but he's put so much into this tournament and so much for us to glorify. He's a great player.
And I guess that the thing is, it's the speed of the game, Laura, that might unsettle Luke. We're always looking for chinks in the armour with Luke Little, with this incredible talent, but maybe the methodical way that Gilding goes about his business. I think it unsettled Dirk. I don't know whether it would do the same for Luke.
It can do, but I think I just think Luke Littler's just got all the tools in his arsenal to be able to deal with that kind of situation. I thought back to when they met back in the 2023 the World Championships, and yet Gilding did get a set against Luke Littler, and I think most people didn't see that actually happening. But Luke Littler's he's far more experienced. It's crazy to say he's had another year and a half on the tour and things. So. Yeah, I agree with Paul. I could see Gilding creating some problems, and he might upset the rhythm of Luke Littler. But I just think Luke Littler will be able to mitigate that and just get on with his own game.
How about you, Mace?
Yeah, I love Littler over long course matches. We've seen him there before, whether it be in the Slam. Of course, the World Finals played over the longest sets possible, and he seems to handle the long matches very well. In fact, I think he approaches them slightly different and maybe with a little less pressure. I think Gilding will get bits out of this game, but it may only be crumbs. I reckon probably 16-8, maybe something like that, 16-9.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. You tend to see that there are some similarities between people who win at the Grand Slam and here because of the best of 31 match play format. Obviously, Littler is the Grand Slam champion.
And 2 in one day.
Exactly. So there's nothing wrong with his engine, and there shouldn't be at his age. So we're trying to find reasons why Littler's going to lose this game, but I don't think he is going to lose. And I think we should always understand as well, even when he's playing someone like Andrew Gilding, the way he plays the game, these best of 31 matches don't last too long. It's not as if it's going to be up against someone really slow and it's going to be 30, 35 legs. This could be over really quick. It might take as little as 45 minutes. That's the way he plays the game.
Well, the winner of that quarter-final will play the winner of the last match we're going to talk about, which is Gerwyn Price against Josh Rock. Now, I think all four of us can agree this is much harder to call. That said, Gerwyn has been in such sensational form in the World Series, in the European Tour Players Championship. He's carried that into this tournament, and it's the doubling that's Mason and I were talking about it in the last game, Laura. It's his doubling that's always been a slight Achilles heel. If it starts wrong for him, that he finds it hard to correct. But he just says he's got a good feeling about his work on the outer ring just now.
Yeah, honestly, it just seems to be he's got everything going for him, hasn't he? The way he's been playing coming into this tournament, the format that he's found, but also this renewed joy to be back playing. But what I do hope from this match more than anything else, I am really excited about it because I just think it could be explosive. It really could be another match that kind of just takes us all by storm. I'm hoping we get to see every single leg. I hope it goes right down to the wire because I feel that they're both playing at a standard that it does really deserve that.
Well, the thing with Gerwyn that you and I noted, Mace, when we were just watching him, is he seems even leaner, fitter. His fitness, you were telling him his fitness regime's slightly different?
Yeah, a lot different. His food intake's different. The type of fitness work he's doing is different, and he's modelling that to what he thinks he needs in darts. But it's interesting. You've got potentially the 4 form players all in the semi-final. Wade recently winning a Pro Tour in great form. Josh Rock's been in incredible form. Pricey in incredible form. Clayton's been a revelation this year, and that's the way I see it going. I just think if Josh struggled to handle MVG in the kind of form MVG's in right now, I think Pricey might be a bit too much for him. But you never know. Darts is very much on the day, but I think if you looked at it in terms of experience, Price has made a final before. He's a proven major winner. The form he's in, and he just looks likely, doesn't he? Every time he steps up to the oche, you think he's going to play well.
And he's really good at best of 31 because he's won the Grand Slam 3 times. And he's
there
been
you
to the
go.
final here. So the similarities are there. And Rock, his exposure to best of 31 is minimal at best.
That said, being down to Van Gerwen regularly in that game, but he I don't know whether he'll take benefit from knowing, right, I can come back against people, because his first session against MVG wasn't great. He ended up being 10-9 down. He looked under the cosh. pulls out important finishes, even though MVG pulled out that 138 that was at the most incredible
The
time.
152 by Josh, that was
Yeah.
equally as big.
Yeah. So look, Rock's got it in him
Yeah,
to get there, but I think price might have to be 5% off, maybe, where we've seen him so far.
Yeah, probably. I know there's going to be a lot of narrative about Price going up against another Northern Irishman, but I don't think that comes into it whatsoever, because this is singles darts. This is to make the semi-finals of this tournament, to be involved in the second weekend of it as well. Price, if he turns up, he wins this game for me. I think Rock is in great form, but experience has got to play its part. I think Rock plays full throttle darts. I think Price is reserving energy better in this tournament. It's crucial that there's been a day off for Josh. But even if there isn't a day off, I think Price has got the experience of managing his way through an entire tournament better, because he's got the experience. He's been coming here for 10 years.
I think Josh could be the one that gets out of the blocks and then fades, because like Paul said, this is seriously long course darts, and one of them is proven at that level.
Wonder if he gives Darryl a ring tomorrow just for a bit of a pep talk.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to overhear the
Oh,
conversation.
yeah.
I'll give you that much. But like the guy said, Rock's got that fighting spirit, hasn't he? He's got that doggedness. He's never going to kind of capitulate completely up there. But from what I've seen, Price was my favourite coming into this tournament. And as much as Josh Rock has been absolutely fantastic, there's not been quite enough to change my mind, because Gezi has been exceptional.
Brilliant stuff. Well, both of those quarterfinals are live with us tomorrow night on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. Once again, we get underway at around about 8 p.m. Also, the coverage is on talkSPORT 2 on DAB, on your smart speaker or online. Thank you for liking and subscribing, if you've done so already, to our YouTube page. We so appreciate it. We passed the 15,000 mark the other day. We're so proud of what we're achieving, but if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and we'll keep the content coming for you, not just during these championships, but beyond that as well. So, on behalf of Chris Mason, Paul Nicholson, Laura Turner, and myself, Ian Danter, we'll say ta-ra for now, but make sure you're back with us Friday night for the last two quarterfinals here in the PDC World Matchplay.